Hi, all, Warlock's Lives. I think it's time we play a little better than wolves. Ooh, it's rainy. Just finished making a new pick, cleaning out my inventory, getting ready to go back down to do some more hunting for diamonds. Gonna enchant my new pick. Unbreaking is okay. I would have liked to have gotten some efficiency on that, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I got some signs, and I actually ran down here to put a sign up, and then realized I didn't bring a pick with me. So I had to run back up to make a new pick. And then I was like, man, my inventory is terrible. I should throw stuff away. And so that's what I've been doing the last little bit here, is throwing stuff away. Right. I got really, really, really lost. Really lost after last episode. It was bad. It was really bad. I spent like 10 or 15 minutes down here trying to find my way back home. Just running up and down these tunnels, like going, where do I turn to go home? I don't understand what's happening here. So, I made a sign. Probably should have been the here's your sign kind of sign. But, oh, maybe I should cut across here. That'd be better. You might have noticed I didn't put up any videos really last week, and, or in the last week. And that's because my computer had some major issues. I've talked about this on 2 previous episodes. This will probably be the last time I talk about it, unless, you know, something more horrible goes wrong. I'm not sure if I've got some hard drives going bad or there's a problem with the motherboard. I'm not sure what's happening. Power supply maybe, I don't know. But what I experienced was weird. So what happened was I finished recording a video and I went to edit that video. And so I opened the program. It takes a little bit for the editing software to load. It's got a bunch of plugins it loads and stuff. So the screen pops up that it's loading its plugins, and so then I go ahead and I tell it to open my browser. And so I guess back in the day, Windows is a glitchy mess. Windows has always been a glitchy mess. I feel like it's always going to be a glitchy mess. But back in the day, it was worse. And so me reloading Windows was a pretty common occurrence. And as I got older and had more funds I could feed into my computer, I started having multiple hard drives. And so I like to keep most of my software on a separate hard drive from my operating system. That way, if I need to redo the operating system, I can easily redo my operating system. And I deal with partitions, you know, back when I had a single hard drive. But I just like to be able to redo that one, you know, the operating system from time to time when things get really bad. So, it used to be back in the Windows 95, 98 era, I would reload Windows probably once every hmm, every 3 to 6 months, I'll bet. Things would just get so glitchy from the different software that you had loaded. Um, and and then when I hit Windows XP, Windows XP was every 6 to 12 months, and then I went from that to Windows 7, and Windows 7 was like maybe once every 1 year to year and a half, uh, and then Windows 10, I think I only had to reload twice in like 6 years, uh, or however long I had Windows 10. Well, this is. I guess I don't know when Windows 10 came out. And, uh, so now I'm on Windows 11. Uh, Windows 11, again, it might just be my hard drives. But Windows 11 does not run as well as Windows 10. And I've only had to reload it once since I've installed it. But that's not a great track record because that was way sooner than when I had to reload Windows 10. And the whatever happened, this is a tangent. The updater refused to update, and things were getting weirder and weirder as time went on, and so I had to reinstall Windows 10 or Windows 11 so that it could update again. And so it's been working ever since I reinstalled it. And I can understand like some of the glitchiness obviously that I was having was back in my younger days where certain softwares were acquired, if you catch my drift. Um, I know, I know, like my first copy of Microsoft Office uh, was uh, from a guy at college who had swiped his father's Office discs, and so my first copy of Office was registered to the Mobile Corporation. um, but uh, you're young, you do silly things, and so anyways, so what happened now this time is so I've got all those hard drives, and um, so I don't always use what's on those hard drives, right? Because not everything's loaded on every hard drive, and so mostly I'm just on the SSD that's got my operating system, and then the OneDrive had my Steam, so that was used all the time, and so I'm pretty sure my video editing software though is on my C drive, or at least it should be my SSD, and then but my browsing software was on one of my old spindle hard drives, and so whatever happened, anyways, as it was loading up, both screens just went white. They still had the Windows, outline around them, but everything inside that window was just white, and I couldn't get them to shut down. Like my computer was just like, you're trying to move your mouse, and it's just not not moving more than like a quarter of an inch, and everything just keeps freezing up. And so I'm like, oh man, what is going on? And so I finally got those shut down, and then everything was sort of working again. But I'm like, man, I need to reboot. Uh, and so I tell Windows reboot, and then Windows, when it reboots, it says it can't access one of the hard drives. I'm like, oh great, that was my hard drive failing. I'm like, that's okay, because I've got the two hard drives. One's newer than the other. I've got two spindle hard drives. One's newer than the other, and I had actually purchased the one to replace the other, and then the other just never went bad. And I mean, I've had them a long time, way longer than any other hard drive I've ever used, and these things are still chugging along. And I think that might be the problem, is that they're chugging along, and I should probably just get rid of them. And so um, I'm like, all right, well, it was bound to happen. Luckily, I've got most of my files on the other hard drive, and so I'm like, well, I don't want that dead hard drive in my computer in case it causes issues, trying to reconnect to it or whatever. And so I get my computer out, I open it up, I take out that hard drive, I put my computer back together, I put it back in its cubby hole, which really sucks because my computer weighs like 1,000,000 pounds. I don't like the I don't like the glass bits on computers now. The cases just weigh so much with that stuff on there. I miss the days of the light aluminum, plain Jane, uh, no frills, just a case. And so, getting that thing out of its cubby is just so much work. On top of that, I got like cords that are too short to be pulled out, so you gotta pull the computer forward, pull some cords off of it, pull it forward a little more, and lean it down on an angle, and reach behind it, and pull those cords that are too short, and then of course I'm sitting next to my desk, and so the computer barely fits out in front of the chair, and I've got to lean around the computer as I reach pulling it out, and then you get it out, and then you gotta put it on. I gotta drag another table over to put it on, and it's just a mess, right? It's just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount of work. And but I'm like, all right, whatever. It's gotta be done. It's gotta be done. I there's a crazy amount of space below me still. Look at that. I already got twisted around. Can't get too low though, because it's like impossible to get through the lava lakes. So, I start my computer back up. It starts back up. Everything seems to be working. And then all of a sudden, no, I use it for a while, but um, I'm not using anything off of the. No, that's not true. Um, I don't remember what I was doing. But it was working fine. I must have been working. That must be what I was doing. I was just straight up working at that point. And so I finished work for the day, and I went to use my computer again, and then the other hard drive gave me the same error message as the first hard drive. I'm like, okay, that's just not a thing. There's just no way, right? That two hard drives are gonna fail in the exact same way, in the exact same day. I'm like, there's gotta be something wrong. And so my thought process was, I probably plugged the second hard drive into the same cables as the first hard drive. So maybe I've had a cable go bad. And I don't remember what day that was on. It was like a Friday or something, and so I ordered here's a zombie. I ordered a docking station for hard drives so I could see if I can't get my files off of the hard drives. And then I ordered new data cables. Uh, and so they came on Monday, but I got work. So I don't have time to pull down my hard drives and my computer and fiddle around with them. And so when I got to Wednesday, it looked like we were done with work for the week. And because, putting those extra hours on the other days. And so I was able to put in the extra hours on Wednesday to finish up my scheduled stuff for the week. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm done. And then Thursday I get up and I pull the computer apart. I pull all the stuff out. I put in the new cables. I pulled out the power cable in case that was a thing. Swap power cables with the new power cable. Put the hard drives back in. Booted up the computer. Hey, look at that! It booted up, and both hard drives are available. And although the one is was a little glitchy at first, but it seems okay now. But like I said, I'm not really using them that much. Although honestly though, actually yesterday, oh there you are. I do think maybe it was a little glitchy still, and so I, I don't know. I think that one hard drive might be going bad. The older one maybe the newer one. I don't know. So I have moved all of my files that I didn't have access to. Steam is now completely on the M2 drive. Actually, I moved Steam, which means that 90% of my games are no longer installed. And because let's face it, that one hard drive was almost completely dedicated to Steam. And then I moved my the big things that were missing was some work files. Because that's the thing, is I had two hard drives, and I had copies of those files on two hard drives, but those are the two hard drives that stopped working. So I've moved those files to other drives, and I moved my game stuff to two other drives. Private's on my C drive. Got some Steam games installed on my C drive now, because I mean, you know, it was barely full with just or it was even like half full with the operating system, and then I moved my Infitech and my Better Than Wolves, which were also on those hard drives, which is why I wasn't recording them, to um to the M2 drive. And yeah, so that's where I'm recording from right now is my M2 drive, and we'll see. I was almost nauseous with the thought of some of the files that I had lost. Mostly I had some work stuff that I didn't know if I could replace. Um and as soon as I got access to it, I moved that to a online drive as well. So now I've got that saved in like four different places. And uh I'll be honest, I acquired some years ago all of the Godzilla movies in their original Japanese with English subtitles. I'm a big Godzilla fan, and those are really hard to get your hands on. Um, and so someone put together the best list. It's crazy, the Godzilla stuff. And and so I had that all saved on those two hard drives, and I knew I'd never probably be able to find that again. Um, yeah, the Godzilla thing. But anyways, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, my Infitech world, my Better Than Wolves world are gone. How many hours of work have I put into those? And now I'm not even gonna get to the end. Oh god, I don't want to start over. That was almost the end of my Better Than Wolves. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I could bring myself to start over. Woo. But I saved it, and here we are. Even if it is just me digging holes in the ground, hoping to find diamonds, which has not happened today. Um, yeah. Oh man, so the Godzilla stuff. I'll explain to you the Godzilla stuff why that was such a big deal. Uh, I love Godzilla. It's one of my favorite movie series ever, and so there's a lot of Godzilla movies. I think they've got to be approaching 50 Godzilla movies at this point. And so there's like 30. I wish I could remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. There's like 30 some Japanese Godzilla movies. Because they've been making them since 1954, right? Pretty regularly. There's a couple of gaps in the 80s to the 90s, like mid 80s to the 90s, I think, and then late 70s to the mid 80s, and then there's a gap, I think, in the mid 80s to the late 80s. And then there's a gap from the mid 90s. No, I guess Orga was in 2000. Um, so late 2000 to whenever Shin Godzilla came out, I think. I don't know. I say there's a gap, but I don't think there's really a big gap. But just here and there, there's like some gaps. But for the most part, they make a new Godzilla film like every 2 to 3 years. So there's a lot of them, anyways. And the problem is that when a foreign film comes to another country, a lot of times they're not allowed to distribute their own film in a foreign country. And so they have to find a foreign distributor. Uh, and so uh, or they don't have they don't have a distributor. They aren't a distributor in the country they're moving it to. And so basically, right, because this is where I was going to do this now. So I need to cut through here, make sure I connect in with these other passages so I don't get confused anymore. Uh, and so over the years, different companies have acquired distribution rights for different Godzilla films. Hmm. And so there are many, many different distributors for the many, many different Godzilla films, which means that there are no just distributors of all the Godzilla movies. That's what that means. Uh, and so then the other problem is that different distributors use different prints of the films. And so to get the best versions of the films doesn't mean, oh, I get all the movies from the one distributor, because one distributor doesn't have all of the films, right? And so actually when I was weird. Oh yeah, yeah. No, weird. There's no dig through here. Did I stop? I stop because my tunnel keeps going at the other end. on here? Yeah, see, there's a tunnel right there. That is the last tunnel, though. This tunnel's not all the way through. Weird. And so to get the best versions of the films, you have to go to multiple different um companies to get all the best versions of the film. Some have better sound, some have better picture, some have better edits. And that's another weird thing is that uh, this is the weirdest thing. Okay, this is the weirdest thing that I've learned from being a fan of Godzilla movies. You know, you know the Power Rangers series, right? So Power Rangers is a weird combination of a series of Japanese television shows, um, which I believe is Sentai films, Sentai series. I think that's what they're called, Super Sentai, something like that. And so what they do is they take these films or these series, TV series from Japan, and then they cut out all of the parts where the Japanese people are doing the storyline for the film, and they only keep the scenes where the Japanese people are in their suits, in their robots, fighting monsters, kind of thing, right? And so when you watch those movies or those the Power Rangers stuff, I don't know if the new stuff is, and I think probably some of the movies are 100% an American thing, but the TV shows, at least back in the day, were actually chopped up Japanese shows um with American parts shoved into it, right? Well, that's not new. The original Godzilla movie, when it aired in Godzilla, wow, where it aired in Japan, uh, was just called Godzilla, and well, it's called Gojira, and so it has a different storyline than the American release of the film Godzilla King of the Monsters. And so they filmed new scenes, and they brought in American actor, and they even filmed new scenes where they would take people and dress them in costumes that matched the costumes of the people in the film, but had them face away from the camera when they were supposed to be speaking, and then just have the actors that were dubbing in the English lines speak the new lines. And yeah, and so you get a different film basically, with just the monster parts added in for for the monster parts. And so yeah, so that stuff happens pretty regularly in Godzilla films. Not that they add in new characters, but that they edit the movies and they change the order of scenes, they change the dialogue. And so, if you want the original versions of the film, it can be tricky to track down. And so, basically, someone did all that and then put together a digital copy of all that stuff. And so I've got all that on my drives. And so that was one of the things that I was like, oh man. because they did just release in Japan not too long ago a ultimate box set of Godzilla, which will never be released here because they don't have the distribution rights in the United States to the complete set of Godzilla movies under one company. And so, yeah, so it's pretty crazy. I just think that's insane that the distribution rights are all split up and different companies have different edits of the same movie and stuff like that. And so, um, that's why I was concerned about my Godzilla movie. But I made a copy of all those, so now those are for sure on multiple hard drives again. So hopefully things don't go too horribly crazy. I'm gonna have to get a new hard drive, I think, and make a backup of all that stuff on a separate hard drive again. Um, but yeah, that has been. I can't believe no diamonds again. This is driving me crazy. I'm so close to having enough diamonds to make my suit of diamond armor. And I need that. I'm pretty sure to be able to survive a wither fight because I suck at fighting the wither. In fact, my plan is to look up how to fight the wither before I fight the wither because I have not managed to do a successful wither fight on Better Than Wolves. Um, the last time I tried to fight the wither, I I didn't look up what to do, and um I just went ahead and I wanted to get over here so I could bust out this next spot. Just, try to get these next few areas started here. Um but yeah, so I did what I thought I knew how to do, and I went up to the bedrock at the top of the nether, so it couldn't fly away, and built a little walls out of obsidian to try and protect me, and then started the wither fight and got killed pretty quickly. And so then every time I tried to fight it, it just kept making it worse and worse, and it got to the point where I would have to leap across empty space to get to. I did it way too close to my path, and so every time I had to go, I had to make sure the wither didn't see me as I leapt over empty space that would drop me into lava to get to my train car that would take me to my various villages. And just hope that the wither didn't see me and start blowing more holes into my only path to um like my various villages where I kept stuff. And yeah. So hopefully this time I can figure out how to fight the wither better and be able to take it out. But I can't do that until I find my diamonds. So with that, I'm gonna call it a day. Be better in the little things, in the light, and I will talk to you later.